This is The Roadmap with Ted Jenkin.
Hey everybody, this is Ted Jenkin and welcome to The Roadmap, exclusively here on America's Small Business Network. Every week, I try to bring you some of the brightest and best CEOs, owners, and entrepreneurs all around the United States, because people always say, how do I start a business? How do I grow one? And maybe one day exit stage left. I'm excited today to have a longtime friend of mine and successful entrepreneur, Craig Riddle. He's the owner of North Atlanta Golf Carts, and we're talking about the golf cart business because, Craig, I feel like, I don't know, every neighborhood I go in today, there's some family there, the kids are riding on the back of the carts. But I want people to know this, that you actually had a background in golf, didn't you, before you got into the golf cart business?
I did. For 13 years, I worked for Club Corp as a general manager of Bears Best Atlanta.
What a course.
Yeah.
What a great course.
Great golf course. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, so people know this because we don't often talk about this on the roadmap. When you're a W-2 employee, which you're making a great income, you got a family, you got to pay your mortgage and everything, how did you decide when was the right time to cut the cord and then make that leap to say, okay, I'm going to go start a business? Because for a lot of people, it's really tough.
It is. And let me say that working for Club Corp was a great experience because they treated their managers as owners, and you really managed your property as if you were the owner. So you learned a lot, and I guess they say you make a lot of mistakes on their dime.
Do you recommend that? Would you say to somebody, look, before you start a business, maybe you're an apprentice or you work in some other business where you get to make those decisions, but it's not all on your bank account?
I think it's a great idea. And I would also say find something that you're passionate about and that you love. For me, it's business in general. And
now, did you look at a lot of businesses, or did you know that you wanted to go into the golf cart business?
We looked at a couple of different businesses, but when this opportunity came about, it was underperforming. The gentleman who we purchased it from was retiring, and we just saw a great opportunity there.
I mean, it feels like a sexy business probably to a lot of people, but like, how do the mechanics of the golf cart business work? Because do you need to buy golf carts and have a whole bunch of golf carts on the lot? Do you sit at a computer like people do today with their kitchen and design one on a screen and then send it out to a factory? How does it all work in the whole selling people golf carts?
It's a great question. A little bit of both. We do purchase golf carts similar to car dealers where we have the opportunity to put them on a floor plan. But for a consumer, they can go to some of the manufacturers' websites and actually build the golf cart exactly the way
they would build a Tesla or something like that.
It's very similar to that. Yes. Yeah.
But you would customize them as well, because I noticed some of these carts, I feel like they have baseball stitching on the seats. There's like custom big premium sound systems in them. But is that what you do? Do you customize them for customers?
Some. A lot of the golf carts that we sell, though, right from the manufacturer, have a lot of those things that people are looking for. But we can certainly do some customization.
And what does it cost on average to get a golf cart? Is it super expensive? Sometimes people don't have sort of that line of sight of saying, like, is it going to be $10,000? Is it $20,000?
So a starting point for a brand new golf cart is right around $7,000.
Wow,
and goes all the way
that's
up to,
not bad.
It's phenomenal. All the way to $20,000 if you want to spend that. So something for everyone, and that's a lithium battery, maintenance-free battery. Starting at $7,000.
So let's talk about that, because I know just a little bit more than I probably want to about the golf cart business. But a lot of the original golf carts, some of them are gas or they just work on a basic battery. But now, why is everything moving to lithium from traditional batteries?
Sure. So a traditional battery would last a person maybe or a consumer 4 years or so, and there's maintenance required for that. With a lithium battery, it's an encapsulated battery, and it's relatively maintenance-free. So it's just it lasts a long time. Most of the warranties on these lithium batteries are 6 to 8 years.
Wow. Mm-hmm. So it's like almost is like a Tesla in that sense, that the battery may not be good forever, but it's much longer than a traditional battery. Right. And you don't do much gas cart at all? Gas is not that much?
For those that don't have the ability to charge the golf cart, or they need it for maybe more than 30 to 40 miles at a time.
Yeah, I know there was a golf course in Georgia here called Echelon, and it was the only golf course I can remember that had gas carts, because the hills were so steep that you literally couldn't get an electric cart all the way up the hill.
So nowadays, just think of a Tesla with a torque. A lot of the carts today have the ability to climb hills versus years ago when we didn't.
So a lot of people know that they can buy golf carts, but in the golf cart business, there's also the idea of renting carts, which is really big. Like people may go down to the beach or they go to the mountains.
Sure.
They have a house and maybe they want to go in town, or like I said, they want to go to the beach. How does that rental business work? Do you buy the carts and then you have to size out what you price the carts for a week?
So great question. About 2 years ago, we started a separate company called North Atlanta Golf Cart Rentals. We purchased 40 carts and turned them into rentals, and they're gas. And that's exactly what we do. We rent to folks for Halloween,
Right, that
for
makes sense. That makes sense.
Road Atlanta, things like that. I mean, it's just been a real nice business for us.
And you mentioned, I know one time we were talking that the service part of this business is just at its precipice of being able to grow. Number one, that when people are on vacation, if your cart dies, there's nowhere to go. So now there are actually mobile technician type vans that will come to fix the car, and that's actually growing.
So we don't have that currently, but it's definitely on our radar.
But on the other side, people may say, hey, look, there could be like a car dings and nicks, and should I take an extended warranty on my car like I would on my golf cart? Should I take it the same way I take it on my car? Is that part of the business
So
today?
just recently, a lot of the OEMs have introduced some extended warranties, so they are becoming available now on golf carts. Haven't seen that in the last few years, but it's just starting to be rolled out by the manufacturers.
Right. But some businesses are, service businesses aren't real capital intensive, but this is a much more capital intensive business. No. So how do you manage like how you take distributions out of the company? Because obviously you have to pay yourself,
Sure.
but then also thinking about the capital that you need to grow the business. Do you have relationships with the manufacturers that give you a line of credit? Do you use cash? I mean, how do you think about that as a business owner?
So a little bit of both. We do have a nice line of credit with all of the manufacturers, and I don't know. I think as we look into the future for an exit strategy, that that has to be considered. I would say
Right.
not rolling all of your cash into a business if you have the intention of selling within the next
Was
year or
this
two.
was this I call it a COVID positive business? Not that there was anything positive about COVID, but some businesses really took off at COVID, and some businesses really got hammered. Golf carts were always popular, especially in affluent neighborhoods and HOAs and things like that. Did COVID help drive this business?
So we saw a huge spike with COVID, and we really anticipated to see that level off this year, and it hasn't. We just continue to see growth.
Because the consumer now in most of these neighborhoods are saying, I need a golf cart.
I don't think they say they need it. I think COVID. I think people want to live their life and have fun and be outdoors and do things. I think COVID kind of created that that feeling in people, and a golf cart's really not a huge expense like a boat or an RV or something like that may be.
Now, talk to me about this because I've been out to your location before, and a lot of owners that own a company have to hit that fork in the road to say, do I get owner occupied real estate or do I go lease a facility? And I know that you're a big guy, you like real estate in terms of property and things like that, but how did you all factor that decision in thinking about owning versus leasing, and then the use of your property over time as it pertains
Sure.
to the business?
So we originally purchased our property at our Dawsonville location. Um, as you said, I'm an advocate of that. We pay ourselves back rent. A few years ago, we had the opportunity to buy the property next to us. It had a warehouse and a rental house on it, so took advantage of that. A little over a year ago, we acquired a second location in the Brazelton area, and we're actually leasing that property. As we look to acquire another location or two, I think similar to the Tesla model, we'll lease smaller satellite locations, letting the Dawsonville location be our main hub.
Is that the future of the golf cart business, that we'll see Tesla-like dealerships? You have a small retail footprint in a popular area, There may be 3, 4 carts in the window. People come in, they play in them a little bit. Will it look like a mini car dealership? Will it look like that?
Well, we've had a lot of success in our last location, so I think that is an opportunity for us for sure.
And when you build that out, though, the capex to start that kind of business is just a lot less than doing the traditional. Hey, I'm on the side of the road. There's 50 golf carts out there. It's just a different business,
It's a
right?
different business. The other opportunities out there is like you said, it's a very capital intensive business, and a lot of the owners of these dealerships are aging out. So there's some opportunity there to maybe scoop up 1 or 2 more dealerships.
Now, I know you're in a business where you have a partner. There are a lot of people that have to decide, should I get in a partnership or should I not get in a partnership? And I'm most curious about how you and your partner decide to devise up your roles, because I think that partnerships can work. I've seen a lot of partnerships sink, but they can work. But how do you decide the day-to-day roles in the business?
Yeah, I think more partnerships sink than swim.
Yeah,
but
they say the only ships that sink are partnerships, but it doesn't always work that
that's
way.
true. So my partner John and I knew each other for well before we started the business and had a great relationship. But what makes us tick and work is that we have 2 very separate roles. My partner works from a satellite location. I run the day-to-day. We talk quite often, but it's very separate.
I think what's most curious is that when you have, and I don't know how yours works, but when you have a 50-50 partnership, which a lot of novice entrepreneurs, I feel like, hey, you and me, we're going to split everything down the middle. How do you break the tie? When you and your partner are there and we have the agree to disagree on this decision, do you just choose not to make the decision? Or do you basically say, look, we have to flip a coin? How do you recommend people try to break the tie when you've got 2 partners and you don't agree?
Well, I think 51% would be a good way to set up your business.
Right. Do it 51-49.
That's exactly right. But fortunately, in 7 years, we've not had to flip a coin.
How does the street value this kind of business? Because I imagine as you sort of bifurcate this, that the rental business to me is sort of that recurring revenue. People rent carts every year. It's going to be spring break. It's going to be summertime.
Sure.
There's going to be Thanksgiving. There's going to be Christmas. People are going to be renting carts. The golf cart business, though, I'm assuming can have some cyclicality because there could be a recession or consumer sentiment is nervous and they want to spend less. How do you think about that as you grow the business?
I think for our future, the reoccurring revenue piece is an important part to get that multiple a little higher than a 4 or 5.
Right.
So that would be our future. Reoccurring service contracts, rentals with long-term leases and things like that, I think would maybe get that multiple from a 4 to a 6. But you mentioned the rental business.
Right.
That's a very good opportunity because 80% of that rental may go to the bottom line, whereas a retail it's much less than that.
Yeah, I feel like no matter what happens with the economy now, people are still going to vacation.
Sure.
No matter what happens, when they go on vacation, a lot of people like having that golf cart for the convenience of going to restaurants, again, mountains, beach, wherever they may be. It's a big thing. Now, I wonder, after all this time of being in the golf cart business, I know that you're a pretty darn good golfer, at least as I can recall.
Used to be.
Do you still get to play golf?
So, not as much as I'd like to. I have a little boy, Zach, who plays travel baseball, so that takes up a lot of my time. But he has taken an interest in golf as well, so we get out as much as we can. So
yeah, he's pretty good at baseball too, right?
Pretty good at baseball. Pretty good at golf too.
Well, thank you, Craig, for coming on the program today and sharing your story about North Atlanta golf carts. Folks, it's like Craig said today, like if you want to start a business or any kind of business, you have to have a passion to start that business, or it will end up becoming a job. I look forward to bringing you great entrepreneurs every week right here on the Roadmap exclusively on America's Small Business Network.
Thanks for watching The Roadmap with Ted Jenkins.